Okay, so this is probably going to be a ramble, so I'm just warning you now if you guys don't have time. I don't know how long it's going to be. I mean, it could only be 5 minutes, but I don't know. I just have to get something off my chest for all the people who like watching me and stuff like that, and for all of my friends, especially for trying to, figure out what the fuck's wrong with me. Um, I I'm gonna try to explain this to my best of my ability, but I literally don't have any formulated idea yet. That's why I say it's gonna be a rant. But to start off, the best way I can explain it is a weird form of boredom. Now, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about or understand where I'm coming from, I play video games essentially for a living, and professional video games, esports organizations, fucking, streaming, video creation, all that, right? Like you're watching this on YouTube video. Um, now, I don't know. It's weird. So I have all these plans that I make, to play a game. And shit, like I'll even launch the game and I'll play it for a little bit. I'll go through the process of doing what I think I'm supposed to do on the game. Be it a game that has long-term goals, doing like a mission by mission thing. If it's a survival game, building a base, killing a couple people, whatever I feel like I have to make my goal at that time, right? And I might get like all the way through that quickly because I know this is sound cocky as fuck, but like I'm good at every game I play, like masterfully good at any game I play. The Forest, Dark Souls, all three of them, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Destiny 1 and 2, PUBG, obviously, which most of you probably know me for. Even games I've picked up and played like once or twice, Rocket League, Overwatch, games that I stopped in the middle but like became famous in the community, World of Warcraft and Neverwinter and Elder Scrolls Online. Like, I master these games and even theoretically master them and end up helping people who are way higher levels than me and stuff like that. And well, another example is, GTA 5, which I've been playing for a long time. I've been playing since the release. And, I played for, I don't know, like probably 2,000 hours-ish on Xbox, between Xbox 360 and Xbox One, probably combined. And, did all the heists, bought the best houses, bought the business thing whenever it came out, the Maze Bank, bought the most decked out yacht, and then because I didn't like how the fully decked out options, the most expensive options looked, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna cut some of these back. So literally just, I was at a point and a skill level and an efficiency and a group of friends in which I was literally bored with the game because there was no challenge. And this happens to me on every fucking game I play. And the only games that it doesn't happen to me is ones in which I constantly find ways to grow, constantly meet people that are better than me, and literally just, I think because of the type of players that play them, it's impossible for me to be the best. I don't think there is a possibility of being the best. And games like that are, Battlefield, Call of Duty, and PUBG. So I played Call of Duty since fucking Medal of Honor. Played Call of Duty 1 and 2, right? With Medal of Honor 1 and Call of Duty 1, and then Call of Duty 2. And then Call of Duty 3, and wasn't really serious, but like loved the challenge and the groups of people because I came from Halo 2, and that was the first game that I was really competitive on. And I did become like one of the best. But I played that game until they shut down the servers. For those of you who don't know, like, there was a time where they were shutting down the Xbox original servers, the Halo 2 servers specifically, and people didn't want them to shut it down. And so people stayed in matches, and they never ended them, public matches, so that they couldn't shut down the servers. And I was one of the people, I mean, nothing crazy. I wasn't like one of the last 10 or whatever, but I don't know, I was like one of the last like probably 50, last 100, something like that. But it's one of those things I'm like, yeah, dude, like fuck, I loved Halo. I played Halo 3, didn't get very good at that, and I think it's because I didn't like the difference and all the changes they made between Halo 2 and Halo 3, and so that's when I moved to Call of Duty. And I mean, I'd been playing COD on and off because everybody was like, oh dude, Call of Duty's way better than Halo, and you know, me being a fucking god, what was I when Modern Warfare 2 came out? Probably 14. Yeah, 13, 14. You know, me being a kid during all those times, during, you know, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty 2 and 1, and wanting to impress my friends, like, you know, I could say, oh yeah, but like I play with KSI on Halo and stuff, and like I'm really good, and I'm actually inside this clan and everything, because I was like one of the original members of KSI, like, not, you know, not like the YouTuber, but like the actual clan on Halo, and I was like one of the original members that got recruited, because obviously the original members were a group of friends, and there's like a whole other story I've told it probably 1,000 times about that, but like I felt really happy that I was part of something bigger than myself, like, and I know that sounds weird and cliche, but it was like real, because I helped people, and even though I couldn't officially participate in tournaments because it was a T-rated game and I was 11, I think, was it? It was right before we moved, so yes, 11 or 12, 11 or 12. I know it wasn't 13 because that was when I got my Xbox 360. But yeah, past that, like, I've always played games, tons of games. Like, I've played literally everything out there. What's funny is me and Omega were talking on the stream last night about Minecraft, and he mentioned a game that I'm now forgetting the name of again, but it just brought back so many memories, because I played Minecraft when it was in the stage where there was no survival, and you was just building, and it was like Legos, but it was like so cool to me, because I think I was like probably 13, yeah, like 12 or 13, because it was like right before I moved. I played the original version, then played it again after, but it was like so cool to me. And whenever I got my Xbox 360, and the only time I could play regular Minecraft was at a gaming center I went to called the Armory, it wasn't on Xbox yet, and so we would play this game. It was like something minor or something. Oh god, Omega talked about it last time so mad I don't remember, but it was like the knockoff Minecraft, but it was actually really good because there's like 20 of them on the Xbox 360 store. But yeah, like that was what I did. But so I'm trying to, god, see what I mean? Rants. I'm trying to explain the reason that I'm really fucking bored. So I've always played games and then gotten good at them and then just like kind of died off from it. And even, like I said, theoretically, I'll get good at a game because I'll understand what's happening and I'll be playing with people around me who are better than me and at higher levels and stuff like that. So for instance, World of Warcraft, I was part of the biggest PvP guild on BlackRock, and nobody ever understood why, besides being an IRL friend of the guild leader, why I had like a high ranking in the guild and stuff like that, and was always like, you know, given preferential treatment. And that's because I was like the coach for the guild, the higher ups, like all my friends who were actually like real life friends of mine. We went to middle school and high school together. I don't think I like ever got past a certain point. Like I never caught up during an expansion on WoW, except for Battle for Azeroth, and obviously because it's Battle for Azeroth and it's fucking ridiculously easy, which is another reason why I quit it again. But even though I could never reach a max level, I loved how hard WoW was, and that's why I played it so fucking much. And what's funny is a lot of people talk about how like they were like the best at PvP, or like they were like, you know, one of like the best raiding guilds, but like I was on the best PvP guild and I never really played with them because they were in a different bracket from me. Every time an expansion came out, they would level up quickly like most good players do, and I'd finally reach like the last expansion and be working my way up to the new level. And then when Miss Pandaria came out, I got really pissed off because they took away, or it was like, I think it was either the end of Cataclysm or when Miss Pandaria came out, they took away the original classic talents trees, the actual talent trees, and it pissed me off because I actually miss like being able to help people and just be like, oh yeah, dude, no, you want like 2 in that one, blah 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 in that one, and then being a smart ass and explaining to them, no, the reason that you do that, no, the reason you don't want that one, or the reason you want this one, you want there's only a couple in that one but not like the full set, is because like mathematically, like, you know, and I do like all the fucking little fractions and decimal points and talk about the different damages percentages against different classes and armor and other skills and things like that. And like I would build those things, and I don't think I ever actually released anything online, but like I know that people that I talked to that were higher ups in the guild would release their stuff, and I don't know like any other names or anything, and I'm pretty sure they're way the fuck outdated nowadays, but like it was that kind of notoriety that got me like really happy, because they would come and be like, oh dude, I released like part of what you were telling me, and then like I kind of like expanded on it, and then like talked about it in like a more simple manner, and like I have like all these people looking at my blog and blah blah blah, and like, dude, thank you so much. And so like I think it was like what got me started on trying to be a content creator, and like that was like another level of challenge to video games. And then I started streaming on Ustream and Justin TV, which Justin TV, for those of you who don't know, was what Twitch was before it was bought. And Ustream is still technically a thing, but it's called IBM Videos or IBM Streaming or something like that, and it's like a knockoff, fake, weird, failed project by IBM to do Netflix. I think, I don't really know the whole backstory behind it, but like it's not Ustream anymore. And unless you had an account back then, you can't really access the site without paying like $300. It's really fucking weird. And since I have an account from back then, like I can go see some of my old videos and stuff, and I've been trying to get them to give me access to them, but they're being really stingy about it, which is like something else. But starting the content creation process, like I said, added an extra level of challenge. And so even games that I thought were really easy, like Minecraft and stuff like that, I played a lot because I would come up with little things to do and challenges and you know, different ways of playing and stuff like that. And then that's where Seke was born. And I've always been a person to challenge myself, and you'd be like, oh well dude, I bet you can't beat me at pistols only, I bet you can, you know, quick scope only me, blah blah blah, all that shit, right? And Seke is the original clan, for those of you who don't know. My original name was Seke Leader, and that was obviously because my gamer tag, I literally was unimaginative and just wanted an original gamer tag. And so it was SEKE space leader, because I was the leader of Seke. And the idea of it was originally the name was Subum and Knife'em, was you know sub, you know, only use submachine guns, only knives, stuff like that, right? Subum Knife'em. And then obviously it went on to like, you know, other games where it didn't make sense to say that that was the name, but I still use the name because it was like a trademark, I guess. So SEKE stood for the slaughter everyone, kill everyone. And a couple other things I'm not remembering because there's like, you know, momentary lapses of different games and stuff like that. But like if it was like an RPG game or whatever, if it was like swords and stuff, it was slaughter everyone, kill everyone. If like, you know, bullets and stuff didn't apply. Because now the idea for that was to always challenge yourself, and obviously submachine guns and knives were challenging to win with because they weren't as overpowered. Now everyone's gonna obviously say, and I was explaining this recently, someone said it made me laugh because I haven't talked about Seke in depth in a long time, and it is like, oh, what about the UMP? You're talking about MW2, UMP was so OP. Well, yeah, obviously, but we wouldn't really use it. We would use the MP5, which had a high rate of fire, and then also the Vector as well, but we weren't that accurate. So, I mean, the guns weren't that accurate. We were accurate because we learned how to use them and stuff. And then I think it was like 2011, 2012, we were like one of the #1 MLG game battles clans for like 2v2s, 4v4s, 3v3s, stuff like that, and 1v1s. Well, I wasn't, but one of our other players was for the 1v1s. And we did that. We only did that. We had like videos, you know, kind of based our stuff off of FaZe and Optic, you know, doing their montages and stuff like that. And we did like streaks of like knife kills in like ground war and shit like that, and nukes with knives. And one thing that we really challenged ourselves with was we stacked nukes. And so like the way it works in the game is like if you don't call in a kill streak and then you die and you get that kill streak again, it will just overlap it. And so we would stack nukes. And I think one of my subordinates, another friend of mine named Jason, he was the only person who was ever as good as me. And he actually beat me in something with knifing, because I always brag about how I've never been beaten in a 1v1. But when it came to playing against other people, he was a god in comparison to me. And he actually stacked like 10 nukes in one ground war game, and this was during the time when like YouTube was like blowing up and stuff like that. And so people in the lobby, right, the 2 9-man teams, we would be like, all right dude, so we're not going to get any scores, right? Like, yeah, we're not going to grab any scores. And so both the teams would literally just try to get nukes, so we wouldn't grab anything in domination for ground war, and we would just fight, try to get nukes, right? And so we would get them and we would just stack them before, and we would see how long we could go before the enemy team got a nuke. And sometimes they wouldn't, so we'd like set a goal, and then obviously the goal kept going up and up. And I think he literally stacked like 10 or 14. For some reason the number 14 comes to mind, but I know it was at least 10. And mine, yeah, was only ever like 6 or 8. I think it was 8. Yeah, I'm gonna go big dick, 8. And so yeah, now to move on from that, obviously, like I said, you know, I started moving on to other games, started doing bigger games. Momentarily, you know, did Elder Scrolls Online, and that's another game where I was never like the best, but I became so good in campaign. And what's funny is on Elder Scrolls, it's the backwards. Campaign is actually the PvP. If you played on Xbox, you know that there is a legend. If you played on the Aldmeri Dominion, there was a legend. Oh, shit, even if you played on the enemy team and you played regularly on the 7-day wipes, there was a legend of the 7 gods. All right, and it was players, and we always played together. Well, some of us played at different times because, you know, jobs, and I was, you know, only in school and stuff like that, so I got to play a lot more. But we were named after gods because of the way we played. You had Thor, who was a paladin. And then there was oh god, no, I can't remember. It wasn't even like just the Norse mythology too. I think we had one dude who was Athena. And I think literally the only reason they named her Athena was because, you know, she was a girl. It was a stupid idea. I don't know where that name came from. I think it was just a joke because she was like so godlike, and it was like, oh, we gotta call her something too. I was called Loki because I liked fucking around. And what I would actually do is I would go, because everyone knows, obviously, if you played, if you didn't, I'll still explain it. To get what's called the Emperor, which gave this like massive buff to your whole army, and like a huge buff to the Emperor, who was like the best player during that wipe. You had to capture all the keeps around the center, and it like made you way more OP. And so that's where most of the fights went, because obviously everyone had the keeps close to their bases, because it was like a big triangle. And so what I would do is, well, if there was ever like a really hardcore, you know, deadlock, I would go all the way to whoever we were fighting with primarily, because usually there's like sometimes 3-way fights, but normally it's like, you know, 1v1 between 2 different factions. Whoever we were fighting with primarily, I would go to their main base and attack like one of their really close forts. And if you only hit a wall a couple times with siege engines, it would literally give an entire, like, it would give the entire faction, whoever was playing, thing on their screen saying blah 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 keep is being taken or being sieged or is under siege or whatever. I don't remember what it was called. And I even, if you want to go back on the video catalog on the YouTube channel, and there are tons of videos of me doing this, and it's fucking hilarious, because I'm literally by myself sieging like this keep by myself multiple times, like throughout hours and hours of playing. And because of this, you know, some people eventually got the idea, but there was still a portion of people who got in because it was limited. Most of the time we only played on the 200 mans, or no, 500 mans. And so it was limited to, I think, like 150 or whatever on the enemy teams and our team as well. And so like a portion of those people were just noobs, or people who didn't really know what was going on, who didn't know about me, right? And so they would go, oh fuck, oh they're capturing a closed keep, this is bad, and they would run away from the major fight or whatever fight they're at, and they would go up there and we would end up winning. And it was I thought it was fucking clever as shit, and it was really fun for me because it was also challenging. And so like even if they came, being a rogue, I was able to, well, assassin, I was able to you know, go invisible and stealth around and stuff, and it was like really fun. It was challenging and it was fun, and that's why I really liked it. And it got to a point where I one of two things would happen. I'd only have like a couple people come with and fight, and so it wouldn't accomplish anything. And I only ever got Emperor like once or twice, and after that point, like I got more and more bored because I'm like, well, shit, I literally haven't even maxed my character, and you know, I'm not prestiged all the way up. I mean, you know, I was like 60, but I wasn't like all the way up, and so I was like, well, this fucking sucks because like I've already got an Emperor, and I got not even the level of half the people who play with me. So like I'm getting really bored, and one or two things would happen. They would either come up or they wouldn't, and so it was like I was doing nothing, and my one-on-one battles wouldn't be that amazing. Like, you know, I'd get a whole bunch of kills and stuff, but like it wouldn't make that big of a difference because of most of the people around me weren't that good by the time I started playing, because I think it was like getting to be summer, and so most of the really good people had their jobs, and a lot of people I knew who were playing were taking like summer jobs, and so, you know, me being the only one who didn't have a job, I just got really bored, and I moved on to a game called Neverwinter. And on Neverwinter, I actually leveled up so fucking fast due to microtransactions and having gotten a job, so I had money to buy them. The game pretty much, I played the game. Like, it wasn't necessarily pay to win, but the way that I used the stuff, I exploited it so hard, and I just like became max level on an entire server of characters. I think it was like 10. And then I started, you know, I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a video on this, because I, you know, had all my streams uploaded from Elder Scrolls Online. I was like, you know, I'm actually gonna do a tutorial, and I did a tutorial, and I got quite a few views, and it said what to do after 60, and then the level cap was increased, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll try to level up. And then like other games started coming out, and I like went away from it, and so I started playing zombies a lot more, which I was already playing normally because, you know, I played Call of Duty a lot. And going to Call of Duty Zombies, I ended up getting world records and other stuff like that. And then when I got to a point where I got 779 level, like I was like, okay, well, this is boring. It just kept moving along, and then shit started going fast because I was like, you know, going into high school, or well, kind of getting out of high school, and I was like, I got to a point where I actually got taken away from my parents, and I had to stop playing video games for a while, and then kind of like always craved video games, and I came back really hardcore, and also went into my job and graduating from high school because I got held back a year for ditching an entire year, because I was really focused on video games and content creation, and ended up I don't know how to explain this. Like, I got to a point where like I started to grow more and more, because it was weird, like being so focused on everything and just having so much more passion about stuff, and knowing that if I don't pass this year, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because taking second year of high school would be like crushing for me, and I wanted to just get into college and actually, you know, start working on a degree and stuff like that. And like, it was weird, like that stress made me even better at games, and I blew through games left and right and just kept getting bored of stuff. And one of the only things I ever played constantly besides Call of Duty with my clan and everything was obviously zombies, and then Civilizations Revolution, I think is how you pronounce it, because there's an accent there. And it was the only console version ever of Civs, and it was actually on the 360. And what I would do is I would play it every single fucking day if I wasn't doing anything else, and I would play it constantly on hardest difficulty, and it was like the only thing that gave me a little bit of challenge. And I even got to a point by the time where I was buying my PC, building my PC in college, where like I could literally go and just constantly skip turn, and I'd still win on fucking deity. And so it's pretty crazy. But once I got my PC, I was still playing Xbox, and I started playing Destiny about the time that I graduated, and I was like pretty hardcore about it at first, and then just got kind of away from it around the end of Crota because nothing was really happening. And then House of Wolves came out, and I destroyed House of Wolves in like less than a month, like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. Like less than 20 days. I was pretty much max level on all 3 of my characters again, and had like all the new exotics and everything and all the new grimoire, and I was like, okay, well, guess I'm done here again, and I moved on to just playing civs again. And I'd almost had my PC done, and then played the shit out of the new expansion from Destiny, which was Oryx, and I actually got a big challenge out of the Oryx raid, King's oh god, is it King's Fall? I don't know, I'm forgetting the name. But I had like a lot of fun streaming and stuff during Destiny and everything. And I actually came up with a fun explanation for the Golgoroth fight, and it became pretty well known on Destiny LFG, both of them. And well, technically all 3, because there was also an LFG on Destiny Tracker. But yeah, it became pretty well known that I had like Max Grimoire, and even actually passed Max Grimoire for Xbox because I found out how to get into the area where the ghost is located in the strike for the PlayStation exclusive strike, and was one of the people who figured out how to do that. And so I had like over Max Grimoire, and I loved hearing people laugh at like my explanation, and then I love teaching people. And then also, as you could see in some of my videos, I would actually carry people through Crota, and that was like the only way for me to challenge out. That was by soloing it. And what I would do is I would get 5 noobs off of Destiny LFG, and I would, because you know most people, they can do the raid at what was it, 59 or something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but they could do the raid at that level, but nobody would let them. And so it really pissed me off because nobody would do it with me. And then when I finally slowly got that level from Iron Banner one week, I figured out how to solo it, the entire raid. And then I said, fuck it. Only people who are, I think it was 30 and 29 and 28. Only 30, 29, and 28 is allowed. If you're 31 or 32, you could do it yourself, so you don't need to be in here, and you could do the hardcore. So I would only do that, and I would bring people in, and that was my challenge. And it also made me feel good to help people. And I did that going on into the Oryx stuff. I did that going on into the Rise of Iron, and I just was so good. And then I got really bored because at the end of Rise of Iron, what they did was they made it to where all the raids were up again, and I did that for a while, got all the new guns and everything. Like I had literally every single one of the raid weapons at the max level, and I had those in my vault and everything, and then I had like the full gear for each raid on my characters. And Max Grimoire again. I kind of semi-memorized the Book of Sorrows and a whole bunch of other really interesting Grimoire cards, and like I would stream it a ton, and it kind of became my game. Like you have a lot of streamers who just play one game, and even though they might not enjoy that game, that's all they play. And then started playing PC, and the only reason I'd ever go back to Xbox is if people wanted me to play Destiny with them, and that was it, because the new Call of Duties were crap. Like after Ghost, like all the Call of Duty sucked ass, and like that's all I could play was Destiny. And so I ended up going to PC, and I played DayZ a long time ago. When my PC was, well, I had like another PC, and that's actually how I streamed, but it was a really shit PC, so all I could really do was like internet and stuff like that. And when DayZ was just coming over to DayZ Standalone, I was able to play it, and I actually played it. And there's a video a long time ago of me saying, what was it? It was, my mic was so shitty you could barely even hear me over the volume in the game. But I was saying something along, the title of the video is something along the lines of like, why I have to leave, or like this is the end, or this is goodbye for now, or something like that. I don't remember what the title was, but it was me right as the suicide mechanic came out, and I found the new pistol too, which was the little tiny the starts with the D, the Debonair or something pistol. There's the one-shot pistol, and I found that, and I killed my character with it, and then you're dead screen. That was the end of the video. And when I got my new PC, I was able to play, and I was like, you know what? DayZ got a whole bunch of updates, and I loved the challenge from DayZ because it was pretty much kill or be killed a lot, but I also liked RPing and other stuff, and everybody knows my RP things. I'm gonna try to not, go off on more tangents about really specific things and not have to do what I'm trying to explain. But I played DayZ a shit ton, met one of my girlfriends on DayZ, Um, made a server. I admin 2 other servers. I streamed it, became friends with the biggest DayZ streamers, and it was huge for me. I ended up getting 1,000 followers on DayZ, and then because I was one of the top DayZ streamers, I ended up getting a free thing to go play the alpha for PUBG. Now, I had played H1, and I'd played a couple other games, and I didn't know PlayerUnknown's was the guy who made PUBG, even though it was PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I thought it was like a knockoff or something, or a joke, and so I thought it was like a B-rate game that was going to go in from the alpha to the beta, make money off of the purchases like a lot of games have done before, and then just disappear into the existence, the people making the money. And so, you know, I noticed a lot of people were playing it, and, you know, it was pretty much only streamers who got the invites, and all the DayZ streamers got the invites. And so I was like, all right, okay, I guess I'll go ahead and play it, and it also gives me a chance because I got 2 free giveaways. So I did it, and I got really good at it, and I was having fun. And because I'd done RP and stuff like that, I was also RPing on there. That's where I got the name Grandma. And again, I'm not going to go on the tangent about where I got the name Grandma and what I did on DayZ and PUBG and all that at the beginning, but I got really, really good at PUBG. And once the duos came out, and then the squads came out, and I was playing with more people, and then the leaderboards came out and were really good. And then you have the rating system and everything and all that. I was actually like at the top for a while, and the way that each season would work for me is like I would reach like a really high rank, and then I would just like be like, okay, I got a good rank, that's cool, screenshot it, put it on Twitter, whatever, and then I'm done with it. And I would just fuck around for the rest of the season because I didn't take it really seriously. And then I ended up meeting Wazuppy. As some of you who watch me and stuff know, Wazuppy is like my brother, probably more if you know how our relationship is. But he saw how good I was, he saw my potential, and Waz had played Counter-Strike and other games professionally. His dad played Counter-Strike professionally, and he saw how good I was, and he wanted me to go do this thing for VVV Gaming. They were hosting tournaments, and they were doing this thing every Sunday, I think it was, called the Draft Tournament. And the way draft works is, you know, like you play dodgeball in middle school and whatever. You have your team leaders, and the team leaders go back and forth picking teammates. So they'd have their, 16 teams or whatever. And the team leaders would go down a list, and they'd see all the stats. And primarily it was ranked by rating, because that's what everyone cared about back then. And I was like at the fucking bottom because I didn't give a shit when that tournament was going on. It was like towards the end of a season. And so I was like I think like the second to the last one picked, or like the last one picked, I don't know. And I got picked by a dude named Grizz, and KSN Kickstart, and another guy. I don't even remember the guy I was playing with. I don't know if he was like a normal player, if he was just another last pick guy or whatever, a friend of Kickstart's. I think he was a friend of Kickstart's, but I don't remember who it was, because it wasn't Ashik or Bahawaka or 17. It'd be weird if like I knew who they were and we just didn't remember each other. But yeah, they knew I was bad, or well, based off stats, thought I was bad. And I explained to them, like, I'm actually pretty good, but my stats are shit. And, you know, that's what everyone's going to say, right? And obviously, as a higher up, you're going to be, you know, a little bit ego. And you're going to be like, yeah, whatever, bro, okay, just listen to us. And I was like, yeah, if you guys just tell me what to do, you know, I'll follow the strats and everything. And I'm a pretty decent shot. Just put me in a position where I can help you, you know? And, you know, just tell me what to do. I'll follow your guys' orders. I'm just here because my friend told me I should be here and I should listen to what you guys have to say. And Grizz at the time was actually, I think, top 10. And he was really good. And obviously Kickstart was up there as well. But they put me in positions, and I was constantly flanking, and that's where my idea for PUBG and my playstyle came from, was how they played me, because it felt so natural for me to constantly come around behind people, using my teammates as bait. Now it sounds dickish, but like, if you have good teammates, they can handle themselves, they can take cover, peek up and down, and all stuff like that, right? Be it a good distraction, and then I come in and clean up, you know, and I could even help from an angle. I could take a far angle, you know, even if it's just a slight flank, it gets people off their feet, gets them riled up. And like, you know, I was always comms based, you know, just like, oh dude, he's one shot, oh bro, I hit him like 3 times, 4 times, oh my god, I hit him 5 times, oh he's not down. And he gets the team all hype and constantly riled up, right? And I've always been that hype dude. And obviously helping people has always been my thing, like, so it was like weird. It was like naturally my playstyle, like where I was meant to be. And I ended up getting like 7 more kills than anyone else in the tournament. And it was like really cool. And Grizz is like, dude, yeah, bro, like, why are your stats like that? Well, I mean, like, you know, you could check blah 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 blah. I forget what it was before OPGG. There was something else. It was like PUBG something. But I was like, oh, if you check, dude, like, you can see, like, I'm actually pretty good. I just fuck around a lot, do hot drops, stuff like that. He's like, well, dude, you need, like, start playing serious, man, because there's, like, actual tournaments coming out. Because obviously at the time, PUBG didn't let anyone host tournaments until they hosted their first one. And so I was like, all right, cool, dude, I'll go ahead and play. But, like, that's where PUBG came into play. And then PUBG has been my thing since, you know, obviously its release, end of 2016. And it's almost been 3 years now, and like that's all I've really played. And I've been, you know, on and off little games here and there. Destiny 2 came out, I played that a little bit. Rebought Skyrim and a couple other games. Civilization 6 and 5. My, you know, Rust. Everything, right? And like, it got to a point in PUBG where when me and Waz played duos, we would get like 40 something kills a game as a team. And so we came up with the name Bubonic Plague, as you guys know we're using now and we've used in the past, because, you know, the plague killed 40 something percent of the European population. That's where we got the idea. Clever, right? But we, like, I got again to a point where I was like, well, shit, I'm getting really, really good and I'm getting bored. And like, I started getting really smart. I just kept trying to challenge myself. I hated going into cities, so I started dropping in cities. I hated like random remote areas like prison and Stalber and like landing Hacienda and like the military base on Miramar. I hated Miramar in general, and I started just doing the things I didn't like to do more to get myself used to them. I started using guns I didn't like to use, and I got really good. And then we actually started getting attention. We started playing with really better people. We started playing in small tournaments, and like we ended up beating WizWiki, who at the time was the #1 player, and he was playing with McCoy, who was the #2 player on the duos leaderboard for the US. And me and Waz beat them multiple times in matches, or, you know, just be the last us four. And there's one day where Waz did something weird or stupid and he ended up dying, or maybe I wasn't helping. I don't remember, because he always argues that point that he died because I wasn't helping him or whatever. I ended up 1v2ing WizWiki and McCoy, and it was so cool. But like, that was the point when I was like, all right, this is it, like, we're good, we can do this. It was actually funny because I don't think WizWiki realizes that, because now we're pretty good friends. Although the last like month or two I haven't talked much, because I don't really see him streaming much anymore, which kind of sucks. And the same goes for 17. I mean, 17 became really good friends, and I haven't seen him streaming in forever. But yeah, like, it got funny, and I started joking around like I did towards the end of the game, and that's when I got like really serious, and I was like, okay, we need to actually do tournaments, like big tournaments, and they started coming out. You had PUBG Online, you had Awesome, all that stuff, and I did, you know, the Armageddon thing, for VV, all that stuff, and sadly, me being good wasn't the reason I stopped. Team broke up a couple different times. Me and Waz ended up like just not being able to find anyone, and then the game got really, really shit, and we were already like without a team and any really reason or backing to play, and we just kind of stopped playing for like 6 months, as most of you know. And I went and played other games. I went and played Destiny 2. I went and played Rust. Played Rust really hardcore, and I actually quit that game because I got too good at it. And that is about the point where this started. Not a lot of games that come out. I've pretty much beaten and destroyed every game that I own. Not actually physically destroyed, I mean, like, just went off. And I've come back to PUBG, and there was another challenge there because I was joining another org and I just wanted to play, and I noticed the game got better. There's new mechanics, new maps, new things to learn, new things to try. And while I was coming back, new things came out. Like, again and again and again. And I convinced Waz to come back, because I was back for like a month and a half before he came back, or maybe even 2 months. And then the stuff happened with Orion, and I tried to play and then couldn't get a team together, and then stuff happened where with Lobes, and again, I'm trying not to explain a lot, just try to go over things that most of you longtime viewers would know. People watch the stream and everything and hear me talk about this all the time. If you have any questions, you're watching this, go ahead and ask me if you ever see me on the stream. And then a lot of the people from Orion came together, and some of my friends came together, and other players, and we started working with Illusion, and then some stuff happened there. And as you know, me and Waz are still working under Illusion, but the original players and subs and second team and third team and fourth team under Illusion kind of just broke up and everything, and then other things happened, and then Warcraft Classic came out, and then we lost Ghost, and now me and Ghost are playing Destiny 2 again, and like that's been kind of back and forth. Like I've been like off and on playing Rust. I went and started playing RuneScape again, and so I was, you know, primarily playing PUBG and working as a coach and a sub, and because of my medicine and my back getting a lot worse over the last year, kind of all I've been able to do is just kind of, you know, off and on sleep, play a little bit while super high on medicine and everything. And like I kind of lost interest in PUBG again over the last week because of what happened, you know, just everything kind of collapsing and everything together just kind of piling on me, and then also having to move, and then just not being able to stream, not being up at proper times, not being able to play scrims because how my sleep schedule and my medicine are affecting each other. Like just all this shit that is just out of my hand. Maybe I could somewhat tweak things or whatever, but yeah, I wouldn't be happy, and sadly that's already happened. I'm just not happy. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't know how to explain this feeling other than it's just severe boredom. It's like it's almost depression, but I've never felt this feeling before, and it was enhanced by everything that's just happened. And I actually found a little bit of fun in RuneScape. I actually ended up fucking myself over, and that kind of added on to just my sadness and just horrible feeling of just everything going wrong and stuff. And I just don't know what to do, because it's now just me and Waz again on PUBG, and Waz is working his ass off, but I can't seem to do anything. And anytime I pick up a game, I just can't do it. Like with Destiny, I picked it up and I actually leveled up 2 characters to 900, tried to do the raid, ended up playing with idiots, and instead of having that old rush of like, oh, I want to teach these people, I want to make them better, I want them to have fun, and I'll have fun because they're having fun, I just got pissed off. And then because I was pissed off, I got pissed off at myself, and like because I was pissed off at them, I got pissed off at myself, and then I got depressed about it, and then I just stopped playing. And then I couldn't even play RuneScape because anytime I get on RuneScape, I already accomplished the goal that I set out to do, and there's more that I can do, and there's more levels I can get, but it's like every little thing takes hours and hours to do, and it just seems like there's no actual reward. It's not a challenge, it's just a drag. It's just a task that there's no reason to complete. And I'm slowly doing things and getting into RuneScape again, and then like over the last week or whatever, it's gotten a little bit better because it's kind of all been a really big play with my bad internet as it was when we first moved in. And then, you know, once I got good internet again, I tried to hop on Rust. GTA got bought for me by one of my buddies, Switch, and I started playing that. I still want to do the RP, but like no matter what I do, if I try to get on Rust, I even went and played Mini Masters again because of this feel. Like I just didn't know what to do. I was like, all right, let me just go try literally anything. And I was like, you know what? I used to destroy in Mini Masters. I was like one of the top ranked players. Let me go back to Mini Masters. I've heard some cool things about it, and obviously it got picked up by Discord. It's in a Discord game now. And I was like, all right, let me go play this. And then I ended up getting a fucking 30-something win streak. Literally didn't fucking lose that night. Just kept winning and winning and winning and winning and winning. And then I ranked up, and I was like, okay, now this is boring. There's no challenge. Like I learned all the new things. I learned all the new mechanics, the new build, the new meta, everything. And I was like, all right, uninstalled. I just, you know, everything. There's no, anytime I try to do something, I'm either too good at it and there's no challenge. It's like not appealing to me for some reason. And then the thing that like I'm trying to explain is like when I watch a video on YouTube and I see someone doing something cool or something challenging or something that interests me or something that I've been trying to do, and I'm like, oh, I should do that. And then I either literally sit in my chair, launch the game or install the game or whatever, get to the login page, or even get on my character, like start looking at my bank or whatever I'm doing on any game that I'm playing. And I'm like, there. And I just lose interest the moment that I start doing it. And I don't want to. Like, I want to do something, and because I'm not doing anything, I'm even more sad and more pissed and more bored. And it's not even just video games. Like, I started watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because I've never watched it before, and I got through the entire, technically 3 seasons, but I think it's the first part. And all I could do is pick holes in it, and then I could only watch like 1 episode a day, because even though it was like really funny and I'd actually laugh out loud and you know, see things happen and be emotional about it and stuff, I'd just lose interest halfway through, you know, the 2nd episode of the day or whatever. Like, that's what just happened right now. I was literally watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, watched an episode and then a third, and then was like, I don't know what to do now, because like, I don't want to finish this episode. And I was watching anime before that, and the new season just started, and I was really interested in one show, finished the entire thing. Next show, finished the entire thing. Watched the stuff that released tonight, and like, then I started watching another show, and I was like really interested in like the first like episode, or like half an episode or whatever, and then it was just like, the moment that anything uninteresting happens, I just start skipping through it. And I hate that, because there's something there, there's story there, there's plots, you know, there's background, there's emotional things, or there's character progression, and like, I'm skipping over it and I don't care. But in the moment I don't care, and during it I don't care, but like, then afterwards I'm like, well, I kind of know what happened, but like, why the fuck did I do that? Why did I stop watching it? Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And I just hate that I've literally been awake for 18 hours, and like, I'm not even that tired, but at the same time I'm tired, and it's like, I don't know how to explain this. It's like, I want to do something, and then when I try to, I don't. I'm surprised I'm getting through this video, but maybe it's because I'm trying to figure out my feelings at the same time. It's like, almost like I can't make a decision, but like, I make a decision, and then that decision isn't right, or doesn't feel right, or I don't fucking know. Like, it happened last night on the stream. You guys can go see it on the archive. I started doing the Minecraft stuff, and like, even though I was like really hyped about it, and like, I've been watching these videos from Captain Sparkles, like, I want to do these things, I had this idea, and I was like, oh, you know, Project Ozone is a really cool pack, and so is the one that Captain Sparkles has been using, which is a real life pack. Like, I wonder if I can mix those. And I looked it up, and I found out there is a way to mix them, and I got even more hype. And like, I went through it, and I went through the process of trying to do it, and then like, I just kind of met one roadblock, and I gave up. I don't know why. I'm really pissed about that, because I don't want to give up. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm almost scared that that's what's happening with me, because now there's nothing. Like, no PUBG, no Rust, no game I can play, no show I can watch. Like, it's slight momentary lapses of enjoyment. And then the other 20 hours of my day are just depression and anger and indifference. And I feel like that indifference is growing more and more. And I don't know what I'm gonna do if that gets to a point where I just don't even care to breathe. And it's just this, it's a weird domino effect that literally started fucking it's funny, with a psychology degree you'd think I'd understand this, but it started all the way back when I was a kid. Like, just one thing after the other. And I recently watched this episode of Because Science, about the free will illusion, and the fact that you don't actually have free will. Your choices are determined by things that happening, or the things that are happening around you. And that kind of put me in more perspective, and now I'm just worried, because all I ever want to do is make people happy, and it's really hard whenever I'm not feeling happy. And because I'm not able to do what I want to do, and I know why, and I can't change that. It makes it harder. It's just now this constantly bigger and bigger hole. And just everything keeps fighting me. The people that try to be on my team, my medicine, my family, the way this house is built, the way I organized my things before I left, the way that I'm feeling just randomly because of another weird domino effect of not eating enough or eating too much and taking the wrong amount of medicine or too much medicine, and then also smoking, like, and just putting something in the wrong place and not fucking remembering where it went, and then just having it to do something, and just all this dumb shit. Like, an example of recently is I went swimming to help watch after my, I guess you'd call them my nephews and my sister, so that my grandma and my mom and my aunt, or well, not aunt, just my cousin, it's kind of funny I said aunt, so they could like relax, and I was having fun, and then by doing that I got like really cold, and I ended up not feeling well, and I had a massive headache, so I didn't play anything, and I missed out on some shit. And because the internet was also bad, and I was pissed off about missing the opens for PUBG, and what I tried to tell everyone would happen, and me just trying to help with the littlest bit I did, no one really listened to me. I got like more and more pissed off, and that made me sicker, and then the moment that I could do anything, I literally just yelled at a fucking lady on the phone, and then that made me even more pissed off at myself, my situation, everything that was happening. And then it feels like, you know, I believe not necessarily in karma, but in what's called The Secret, where it's the law of attraction. The more you think about something, the more you want something, the easier it is to come to you, but at the same time, it of the opposite for something to go bad. And I don't necessarily believe in ups and downs, right? People say, oh, if you're just going through a hard rut, eventually you're gonna, you know, win the lottery if you're going through such bad times for so long. But it's been very little wins over the last couple years, and I can't help but notice that my attitude is also affecting the things that are happening, and I can't help but realize that those are reciprocating each other and making it worse, and it's spiraled out of control, and I don't know what to do. This has turned into an hour. Oh my god. See, what it'd be like the last 15 minutes and the first 3 minutes are important. But yeah, this is just so I can explain to everyone why I've been the way I've been, and there's literally nothing you guys can do. It's just pure luck if anything changes. I mean, literally one thing would be nice: finding a team for PUBG, getting money so I can buy a new PC, getting a better doctor, my health getting better, getting accepted to Social Security, like anything I've been trying to accomplish going my way. Just one thing, even something small, would make everything better. It would break the cycle, but it's nothing that you guys can accomplish. It's nothing I want you guys to accomplish for me. But I know what I say might be worrying, obviously, but I'm not one of those people. I don't have that breaking point. All it's gonna lead to is me just being in bed all day, which has been essentially the course of action today. But again, I just want to explain to you guys what's happening and why it's happening and why it may seem like I'm distant or pissed off or in a bad mood constantly. But I love you all. As I say at the end of every stream, and I say all the time to anyone that asks, I do love you guys. Any of you that have been there for me, any of you who've even just been there for one stream or had a conversation with me, Those people are always the best people, because it always seems like at least I've connected to one person. And like I always say, I just want to make people happy, even at the cost of my own. But that makes me happier. Yeah. See you guys.